Hello, Bravo bosses. This is the Bravo Investigator Podcast. I'm your host, Dana, and today on our Monday Reality Roundup, we are talking about Teen Mom, Love Island, In the City, The Valley, and Summer House. And today's episode is audio only, but you can watch the audio episode on YouTube. Let's get into it. Happy Monday, everyone. I hope everyone had a great weekend. And my apologies that I am not doing a video episode today. But you know what? You guys have been like hashtag blessed in terms of how many video episodes you've been getting from me. I used to never do them. And now I'm like, wait a minute. Almost all of my episodes have been video. And those of you who have been longtime listeners know that I just deal with like skin issues and stuff like that. So I am just feeling really, really ugly today, if I'm being completely honest. And my hair is not cute. My skin is not cute. I ain't cute. So I just really didn't want to be on video, but I didn't want to not do an episode for you guys. That would be crazy. So we're still going to do our episode, and you can watch the audio version on YouTube, which basically means you can just watch a screen of the logo of my podcast, which if that's what you want to do, hallelujah to you. I totally feel it. So I hope everyone had a great weekend. It was really nice here in Toronto. I got my winter tires finally taken off, which I know sounds silly, but it was literally, it was snowing for quite some time. So I finally got that done. Nothing wrong with the car, of course, $400 later, but that's pretty typical. But they didn't try to sell me on anything else, so that was good. That was a good piece of the weekend. And then Sunday, which is actually today, the day that I'm recording this. And just had a really good relaxing day. Didn't do much, just ran some errands and stuff. And I don't know, I'm a little nervous about the week ahead. I have a new manager starting. Well, basically an old manager. She's been there for like 30 years or something. And she left abruptly right before I started. So I have never met her. I hear she's amazing though. But still, it's a little nerve-wracking to get to know a new person. It's a little scary, right? But I hear she's absolutely lovely, and she won an award for like being the best manager or something like that. So that's my week ahead. And we are going to be postponing our Real Housewives of Rhode Island recap with Yana Firestone. Those who are new to the show, every Monday is an episode like today, our Monday Reality Roundup, which is typically on video. And then on Tuesdays, we have our joint episode with Yana Firestone with her podcast Pop Therapy, where we talk about the Real Housewives of Rhode Island. Yana has to go to Sydney for some event, so we are going to get that to you later in the week. I think Friday, but I'll get back to you. We will definitely have it to you later in the week. And then Wednesday, we will be doing the Summer House Reunion Part 2. And I'll be doing that with Farai Bennett. He is so funny. I'm really excited to get all of his hot takes. I just heard him on Two Judgy Girls, and I was like obsessed. So really excited to have Farai Bennett on. And then I think I may have Kiki Monique on later in the week, because I'm sure we're just going to want to keep talking about Summer House, to be honest. So I just can't stop, won't stop. We will find more ways and more people to talk about Summer House with. I'm also going to like a Summer House watch party on Tuesday. So it's going to be kind of crazy packed, because I'm going to that watch event. Typically, what I would do on a Tuesday night is watch it twice at home, once to watch it, once to make notes, and then I'd be ready to go for the next day to record. But I'm not really going to be able to do that because it's kind of like this event, and I won't be, taking notes. And then the next day, I'm in office and I'm recording with Farai at lunchtime, so I won't have a chance to watch it again before I record with him. So we'll figure it out though. It's one of those things I really want to digest. At the same time, just it's appointment television. So I feel like we have to talk about it, all day, every day, basically. But that's why I'm sure we'll want to talk to Kiki Monique or someone else later in the week more about it, because I'm just going to have more thoughts like I do today, actually. So that's what I think we're going to do a little bit when we get into Summer House. But let's start with Teen Mom, which we haven't done in a while. So it's kind of exciting. And we'll start with Lindsie Chrisley's arrest. So Lindsie Chrisley, who technically is not from Teen Mom, but she's like Teen Mom adjacent, right? Because she has a podcast with Kaylin Lowry from Teen Mom, who we know Kale, right? I don't need to explain Kale to you, but her and Lindsie have a pretty good business going on with their podcasts. And, a lot has been going on with Lindsie in the news lately that I've not been keeping up with. Everybody knows the Chrisleys, though, right? Like we know her parents and we know that they were in jail. I even did like a little TikTok skit like about them or whatever. But I'm gonna read you guys this Los Angeles Times article because that's how big this got. This is an LA Times article that says Lindsie Chrisley arrested on DUI charge after allegedly swerving around another car, speeding. So it says Lindsie Chrisley, one of the reality stars Todd Chrisley's two children with his first wife, was arrested Saturday night on suspicion of driving under the influence in Concord, Georgia. The podcaster, ooh, fancy title, was booked on charges including DUI less safe, a DUI charge for those whose blood alcohol is less than 0.08%, attempting to elude police, improper passing, reckless driving, and speeding, according to the police report obtained by the Times. Her bail on the 5 counts totaled $5,961. I got pulled over for speeding past a car on a 2-lane road because they almost hit an animal, Chrisley told TMZ, which first reported the arrest. She said that she was trying to miss that car and whatever that animal was. She said that she plans to fight the charges. Law enforcement had a different story to tell in its report, alleging that she was pulled over for traveling 86 miles per hour on a surface street. After the deputy activated the lights on his car and initiated the traffic stop, Chrisley allegedly passed multiple suitable stopping locations before finally pulling over at a Chevron station, the report said. The sheriff's deputy who spoke with Chrisley said in his report that her stories weren't making sense. Her speech Her speech was slurred and her breath smelled of alcohol. After she was asked to step out of the Ford Bronco, she told the officer she didn't know why she had been pulled over, then said it was because she had swerved around another vehicle and had almost hit a deer, the report said. The officer asked her if that was why she was speeding, and she said that is exactly why, according to the report, then talked about the car in front of her brake checking her as she drove home and said that she hadn't been traveling at nearly 90 miles per hour. The report said she refused to participate in a field sobriety test when the deputy asked her to, and she declined a blood test. No contraband was found in the car, according to the report. Chrisley, 36, was released from custody around 4:15 a.m. Sunday morning. Her encounter with law enforcement comes after her then-boyfriend, David Landsman, was arrested in Cherokee County in mid-April on a felony charge of aggravated assault/strangulation and a misdemeanor charge of battery after he allegedly placed his hands around a person's neck and told them that they were not going anywhere, people reported. Lindsie Chrisley is the host of the Southern Tea podcast and has appeared in 20 episodes of Chrisley Knows Best from 2014 to 2017. She and brother Kyle Chrisley are the children of Teresa Terry, Todd Chrisley's first wife. And then, as we know, Todd and Julie Chrisley were convicted of bank fraud and tax evasion charges. And he has a podcast now, I swear, and I think it's doing really well. We also know that she's been estranged from her family for years. She talked about this on her podcast. And I did like an entire, synopsis of everything that was going on with the family. I did like a whole thing. When was that? It was quite a while back, I feel like. I'll see if I can find it and link it in the show notes. But I feel like I did a whole thing explaining her separation from her family and why she decided to do that. She has apparently talked about it like a number of times. But I don't know. There's something about this girl. Okay, in all fairness, I never watched Chrisley Knows Best, and I know she wasn't in it a ton, but the vibe I get from her, and that this is just from the podcast, so that's basically nothing, right? You're getting such a small snippet of somebody like you would with anything else, I guess, that she's like this really sweet, down-to-earth girl, right? So when I see this, I'm like, oh my God, and she seems to be getting herself in trouble with things like all the time, or getting herself involved with people who are in trouble with things, and it's like, it's interesting, right? As somebody who sort of seems like she wants to stay out of the drama, like her parents are constantly, in the news and in the drama, she's dating this bad guy and now she's like drinking and driving. And, it's It's not good, honey. And I really just, I just don't understand how she can sort of explain both personas because the persona that she gives off on the podcast is like this sweet Southern girl who kind of does no wrong, and there's sort of an explanation for everything. But another like kind of beef that people have sort of had with her and Kaylin lately, this is what I was reading online or online pages were basically saying that people don't love how you can't really, or you don't really get much from Lindsie or Kale anymore. And if you want to get like more from them, it's behind a paywall. Like there was this whole like three-part story that Kaylin did about um getting together. Or no, wait, it was with Elijah, her last baby daddy, the one that she has three kids with, a twins and another one. And the whole thing was behind a paywall. I was supposed to have Ray Clark on that, on the podcast for that, and I was having like a really bad anxiety day, so I should definitely have her back on to talk about that sometime. But yeah, it does really seem like you can't get a lot from like their base podcast, which is something that I hear about a lot of podcasts, right? I got rid of my Patreon a little while ago. It just didn't really feel worth it. But I get that, right? Like, it really feels like they're trying to suck you in to like paying them for tea, basically. Okay, now I want to talk about Amanda Connor's arrest for a DUI. So, Amanda Connor's connection to Teen Mom basically is she was with or I guess still is Ryan Edwards. Ryan Edwards is the baby daddy of the first son, Bentley, that what's her name? Macy has. Macy from Teen Mom. So Macy is now married to Taylor and has other kids with him. But when we first saw Macy on 16 and Pregnant, she was with Ryan Edwards. And I remember they got pregnant on their very first time having sex. So that was kind of crazy. But Macy ended up from the jump always was like the most mature mom. She never really had that phase where she was partying and then got her shit together. Like she just always had her shit together. She was always very mature for her age. Like she really just got it together. But she always had like a contentious past with Ryan. It was back and forth because of his substance abuse issues, and they just, could never really connect until he finally got his shit together. And then he ended up with this, well, he was married to this woman, Mackenzie, and they had a kid, and she had a kid from a previous marriage. I, you know what? I'm not going to do the whole synopsis on that because I don't exactly remember what happened there. She definitely cheated on him, I think, but I don't want to get too much into it. But anyways, that didn't work out. He may have relapsed after that. But then after that, he finally got his shit together and he ended up with this girl, Amanda, who also had a history with substance abuse. But by the time that her and Ryan were together, she was clean. And this actually all happened on the show, which feels like forever ago because when was the last time Teen Mom was on? I mean, it's been on, right? But like this feels pretty recent, but I can't quite remember. It feels like within the last year. Um, like I remember meeting Amanda on screen, and Macy was so kind and amazing to her and really gave her a chance because she was like, despite your past, I love that you're sober now and you're great with him. And she ended up getting pregnant. They got married. And then we just found out that she ended up getting arrested for a DUI and child abuse. So this is from the Teen Mom Reality, TEA, Instagram account. So I just want to give them a shout out. So basically, here's what happened. So Amanda was arrested on May 24th at 7:30 in the morning. The charges include reckless endangerment, driving on roadways laned for traffic violation, driving under the influence, and implied consent law violation. So what's being alleged is that Ryan, Amanda, and their baby, they were at Walgreens. Ryan went to get a drug test. I guess she appeared maybe under the influence. I don't know exactly what happened there. And she ended up taking off with the baby in the car. Allegedly, Ryan had her location and he called the cops on her and was telling them where she was in real time. And that's how she was pulled over. So she ended up coming clean about this. I'm trying to find this somewhere. Definitely have this. So she spoke out about it. She came on and did like a TikTok and said, I relapsed, I fucked up and I relapsed. So this is after 3 years, right? So, it does happen. It's really sad. And it's really sad that she drove with her child too, right? Um, there is something else that came out about this before we chat just more about it. So her sister came out named Ashley Connor and spoke out just more about Ryan and Amanda's relationship. And she said that basically they've been fighting for months and that Ryan has almost killed Amanda before. And that Ryan called the cops as more so like a power move and didn't do it for the child Presley's well-being. So that's another point of view, right? And at the end of the day, we don't know what happened here, but at the end of the day, she was also breaking the law, right? So, in that regard, if she was driving under the influence, which she admitted that she did, that's not okay. And it just it sucks, right? Because, Ryan has come so far. You almost would have thought someone like I don't want to say someone like him, but like in a sense, someone like him never would because he just only in the sense that he never seemed to want to get better sometimes. Like it sort of felt like I never thought he would get better because he never really took accountability for his actions or seemed to really want to get better. That's sort of how I felt about it. And then he just finally did. He started having a great relationship with Bentley. He started having a great relationship with Macy. And then that really helped Macy have a great relationship with Jen and Larry again, which were Ryan's parents. And then Ryan found someone that finally, she had her struggles, but worked for him because maybe they really understood each other in that regard. And so it's sad, right? Like, I feel sad for Ryan that he's in this situation again. And I wonder what it means for their relationship. I I wonder what it means for Ryan's sobriety. I wonder if he has been sober through this. I wonder how long this has been going on. And it's sad that there's a kid involved, right? But like, I don't know. It's just sad all around. That's all I have to say. And I will report back more on it once I know more on it, I guess. All right, let's move on to Love Island news. So, as we know, Love Island USA is premiering on June 2nd. I haven't decided exactly yet how I'll cover it. I'll probably do it here on the Reality Roundup week to week, just because so much happens and it's so hard to kind of keep track. So, I think I'll just do it here week to week. I'll be covering like the highlights of it and the news of it because there's always going to be news that's come out. But somebody has already been kicked off the island before this thing has even started. So her name is Vasana Montgomery. She has already been booted. So TMZ has said that one of the announced cast members for season 8 of Love Island USA has already been kicked off for allegedly using a racial slur. There was a video that surfaced online which appeared to show the contestant from Beaverton, Oregon, using the N-word. In one clip, Montgomery appears to say it while rapping along to a song, while in another, she yells it out while her friend is playing an arcade game. Production sources tell TMZ Vasana will no longer be on the show. One source says the videos that have surfaced on social media appear to be private videos, clips not publicly shared until after the cast was announced, which is why they wouldn't have come up when production vetted Vasana. And then TMZ has reached out to Vasana and has not heard back. Okay. Okay. I mean, if that's why they didn't find this before, but it's like, let's find this before. You know what I mean? Like, let's not even get to this point. Like we had this with that girl Yulissa, right? Did she even end up in one episode? I think she did. And was there someone else? I mean, and then there was Sierra, right? Like Sierra, Cierra, that girl who ended up making it quite far with Nick Evans, who's now with obviously Olandria. The vetting process just needs to be better. I mean, I get it when their stuff is private, but then how did it surface? Right? I mean, I guess then that means someone in her private life. Because here's the thing. You make it private right before Love Island comes out. But the majority of the people that follow you, because you're probably an influencer, aren't people that you know. So you make it private, but you're followed by like a bajillion people, right? I haven't checked, but you know what I'm saying. And so one of those people goes through your photos because they're already following you and does something with it, right? So I don't know what they could have done differently. They just need to do a better vetting process because it just This show always ends up becoming so insanely racialized. There's like this other girl who is apparently like MAGA. I don't know. I like we need a better vetting process because it's we get invested in the characters and it's great that we're getting people out like before they're even in. But like think about that Love is Blind guy, that guy Steve, who several women on TikTok ended up accusing him of sexual assault and he ended up continuing to be in the show, right? So at least, we're getting rid of them at the helm, but like remember how far Sierra made it on the show, right? So like it feels like the internet shouldn't have to be the ones to do the digging. Like they need to hire like good people. Maybe they need to hire like PIs to like really dig into these people's lives before they allow them to be on TV. Or they need to be more honest about, or maybe they need to reap the consequences of saying something or having it online, right? I mean, maybe that's the answer. Be your honest self, right? And then like let the internet tear you apart because you deserve it, because you didn't say anything in advance, meaning you're consenting to whatever you've done in the past to be out there. All right, go off, right? And then let the internet tear you apart, and then it's completely your own fault. And then we don't want to hear this like, don't send death threats to my family. I mean, don't send death threats to people's families, but you know what I'm saying, right? Like if you're going to have said the thing or to have done the thing, then you deserve to reap the repercussions of how the internet feels about you saying the thing or doing the thing. So I don't know. Anyways, those are some of my thoughts on Love Island. Okay, let's move on to In the City. So I don't know if I'm going to keep recapping this. I mean, I'm obviously going to keep watching it. I need to keep knowing what happens with Kyle and Amanda, obviously. And so I'm invested in that regard. I just don't know if I'm going to have time to actually recap the show. But that doesn't mean I'm not keeping up with what's going on. So Yvonne, she's the one who's been best friends with Lindsie for 13 years. She was talking about how she like left for several days and went to San Diego, and her husband Nick didn't notice. And we were all like, wait, what? Wait, girl, what? And she did seem to find it alarming. Like, anyways, she was also talking on the show. Was it in the first or second episode? Because there's only been two so far about how she's ready for a baby, but how her husband Nick isn't ready for a baby. But da 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 da, Yvonne and Nick are expecting their first baby, and they had this whole like people photo shoot, and Lindsie was there, Danielle was there. I'm curious what their relationship is like right now because we've had some online, tiffs with them over the pants hand job situation that we talked about a couple of weeks ago. Um, but yeah, they're obviously having to do a lot of press together and they're at a lot of parties together. They have a lot of the same friends. And so, yeah, I wonder what's going on there. But congratulations to Yvonne if that's what she wants. I'm glad that she's really happy. And I hope that Nick is now in a place where it's something that he wants as well. And congrats to them, right? I mean, it's amazing news. Wait, so how many people from Summer House slash In the City have babies? So Yvonne, then Danielle will have a baby, Lindsie, in the entire Summer House in the city sphere. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else within that. Oh, well, the Workus twins. I think they both have kids. Um, but I think that would be it. Okay, cool. All right, let's move on to the Valley. So on the show, we saw Lindsie, we saw Brittany getting, a mommy makeover, and she was really, really excited about it. And basically, she ended up calling out Bravo in the comments because, sometimes Bravo will post like a clip of something that happened on the show or the after show or some promos or whatever, and they will collaborate with the Bravo Lab on Instagram, meaning like when you look at that top kind of bar, it'll say Bravo TV and Zach Wickham, Bravo TV and Brittany Cartwright, meaning that it'll show up on both people's feeds. So Brittany commented on one of Bravo TV and Zach Wickham's reels that was posted on Instagram and wrote, I love this scene, and after everything I went through, this was a huge moment for me. These comments are also why I will never collab on a post with at Bravo TV because most of them are disgraceful and horrible. I don't allow these horrible thoughts to live in my life after everything that happened to me, and especially not after something that was so meaningful and huge for me. I look and feel amazing. You aren't watching a live TV show. Thanks to the people who are amazing and supportive, and for those who aren't, I hope you never get treated the way you treat others. Be kind, spread love. I mean, she's absolutely right. The things that people say about Britney's body is wild to me. Wild. Like, who, what, what gives you the right? Like, it's just so insane. And like in our community, where the Bravo Lebs are up in the comments, which is their own fault, right? I hope that no, this is okay. Then my point is to the people that are tagging Britney, and this is why, why she wouldn't want it on her own post, right? Which is the same as her endorsing it and being tagged in it. If it's on her own feed or the people that are tagging her in it, that's awful. Like you're basically like saying it to her face, which you would never do. And like, how does her body affect you at all? It never has, and it never will. And I cannot understand the hatred that she gets for her body. If you want to hate Britney as a person, you want to hate her laugh, you want to hate the way she's a bad friend, go for it. But like, or you can even hate her body. But why do you have to say it out loud? Like, I just really don't get it. It doesn't, you know? And like, there was something that my sister sent me recently. It was something that Lena Dunham said on Amy Poehler's podcast, where she said Amy Poehler was asking her, like, how does it affect you the way like people talk about your body and stuff? And she's like, oh, it doesn't like other people's opinion of me. That has nothing to do with me. Like, oh, well, that has nothing to do with me. And it isn't, right? Like it's, what does she have to respond to that? No, right? Like if you hate her body, that doesn't, that's not her problem. That's not her problem whatsoever, right? Like, and Brittany shouldn't have to change her body for anybody else. She shouldn't have to do anything for anybody else. She's doing it for her. And so the hate that she gets, it's like, I wish she could have I don't even want to call it strength because like who would? Like the kind of hate she gets as well, but like the strength to be like, that's not my problem. But how can you? If you're getting like, it's like if you get rejected for a job like 45 times, you'd be like, is it me? And so there's only so much hate that a person can get about their body until they're like, am I disgusting? And so, be kind or don't say anything at all. Here for it. Anyway, let's move on to Summer House. We just have a little bit of tea and then I'll talk a little bit about the reunion, I guess. So Summer House, we got some news that Dara and KJ may have broken up. We are not sure. We have gotten some clues that have led us in that general direction. So first, people noticed, as the Bravo sleuths do, that Dara and KJ appear to have unfollowed each other. KJ appeared to have cleared his entire Instagram feed of pictures of Dara, except for like some branded photos. And people were like, what the hell is going on? This is just really, really weird. And he was actually at so what's her name? Sierra had a DSW event the night before. Everybody noticed this. So I believe that this was Tuesday night. I could be no, it can't be Tuesday night because that would have been the night of the reunion. Whenever Sierra's DSW event was, this happened that night because they were there together and they were photographed together. And at that event, like Lindsie was there, Yvonne was there, and this was Sierra's like, yeah, I guess DSW party that she was having or hosted event or whatever. And then there's like this unfollowing, appeared blocking kind of situation. Then KJ did like a live. And so I happened to have caught it because I was like on my lunch break or whatever. And so I caught it. Basically, it's like, yeah, it's been a wild week. I'm about to announce some music, you guys, though. And like stay tuned for it in a second. And so right before that as well, he also had said on Threads, because you guys know he's like super active on Threads. He ended up just saying like, welp. And we're all like, okay, what does that mean? And so he releases the music video, and it's this music video of him and Dara, right? And like obviously it would have been produced before, and so it's not crazy that like your ex-girlfriend is in the video, but I don't know. Like if it were me and we just broke up, I may not release that music video where it's she's the star of the music video. I may like put that whole thing on hiatus and want to like reshoot the video because that would be kind of weird, right? So were they just fucking with us? That's what I was thinking for a bit, right? I was just like, wait a minute. Were they pretending to not be together and to sort of get us interested in like, ooh, did they block each other, blah, 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 so that we would be like in tune and like kind of stalking them. And then he releases this music video and then it's like, ah, suckers. So we still don't know. Then he posts on Threads, I'm just as confused as you guys are. So I don't know. I really don't know at this point, but it does seem like they may have broken up. I want to correct myself on my episode that I did with Ryan Bailey, where we talked about the Summer House reunion part one. I said that KJ had bipolar disorder and it's borderline personality disorder. So thank you to those who corrected us. Much appreciated. My mistake. And I don't know if it has anything to do with that. And a lot of people have also kind of talked about, is he really even right for the show, given his mental health issues, which, I hate to say, because you can do anything you put your mind to, but I guess, is it what's best, right? Like my sister was just going through a situation like that recently where she was trying to figure out, it was like a work situation. She's like, I just don't know if I want to, basically it would be like owning a business is the situation, right? And she's like, I don't know if I can do it. It would be so stressful. I'm like, can you do it? Of course. But is it what's best for your mental health? Maybe not, you know? And so maybe that's something that KJ has to think about. But I'm also interested to hear if Dara's going to come back because Bravo and Cocktails had posted um like tentative people who could possibly be on season 11 and Carrot Dara and KJ were announced as like possibly returning and it was okay that they were a couple because they were going to be like the couple of the house or something like that. So I don't know. I definitely don't think we got enough of Dara for her to come back if they do break up, like we just don't know enough about her. Like I don't think anyone would like miss her kind of thing. But yeah, she probably wouldn't be asked back if they did break up. But then again, should KJ go back, right? I mean, I don't know. I just liked him so much, and I liked him as the little trio with Mia and Sierra. So I get it though. I don't know. His decision. His decision. Anyways, people have spotted Amanda and West in Italy at a family wedding. He is sweating. They are kissing. She is wearing that weird low ass bun again. People are loving to make fun of it all over the internet. And I am one of those people. And I hate that about myself because I am not normally someone who talks about, as I just like went on this whole rant about Britney, you know, but I feel like it's just a hairdo, right? I think Amanda's beautiful and gorgeous, and I think she has gorgeous hair, and I just wish she did something a little better with it. But yeah, I'm leaning in a tad bit to making fun of her low ass bun. So yeah, they're still together. They are off in Italy doing their damn thing. Carl was caught at an airport and he reported saying, watching the reunion now, I didn't feel accountability. I didn't feel accountability. That's what's hard. People are really hurt. Sierra, Kyle's my best friend. And watching that shit, the footage of West at his family's house with Kyle, like he not only brought Sierra home, he brought Kyle home. And who does that? It's just diabolical. And Carl's right, and we still haven't seen that accountability yet. We still have two more parts, which I am so freaking excited about. But I don't know. I feel like I want to talk a little bit more about the reunion. Like Ryan and I talked about it in more of like a overarching capacity, which is so more my style than to go it line by line, which is how Ryan likes to do it. But I really wanted to try to find someone else this weekend to even just jump on with me and talk about it some more, but instead I'll just talk about it a bit more myself. I just want to say, first of all, I just love the way that it opened, first of all, having Kyle crash Lindsay's in the city confessional. That was just really brilliant because it's just so difficult these days with reality TV to get anything that's like super organic, especially when the cast sort of knew something was going on. And by this point, obviously, Kyle had gotten word from Amanda that, she was going to come out with this statement. And Lindsie obviously knew like enough, but like to get her reading the joint statement for the first time when Kyle has not read it and she's reading it for the first time, to be able to get that as like kind of live footage, that's awesome, right? Um, I was still debating whether I feel like Kyle is playing up his relationship with West. I feel like it's something that people do in situations like this and in situations where people die. Do you guys notice that? People will say like, "Oh, I was best friends with that person," and like they really weren't. There's just like something innate that people do in certain situations where they want to act like closer. And definitely in this situation, I get why Kyle would sort of gravitate to that, but I guess we'll find out more when we hear that 3 hour conversation because, he keeps going on about going to what do you call it? Going to Minnesota. Is that where he's from? Montana? Where's he from? Minnesota. No, the Midwest. Thank you. It's the best I'm going to be able to do here. Why am I Missouri, right? So he's taking him back there to his father's ranch and they went to Toronto together. But like, again, like I said with Ryan, like that was a Hayu event, but that doesn't mean that they didn't get close there. And he brings everyone home, right? But again, it doesn't mean they didn't get close there. Plus, they were together on that February 8th boat that Ryan was on when it was like the Super Bowl, right? So, they are a big friend group too, right? They do spend a lot of time together. So, yeah, fair enough, fair enough. I feel like it's the same concept. Anyone in that group would just feel like really icky and weird. Um, it felt very weird for Kyle, or not Kyle, for it's so weird to think of them together now. West and Amanda having the dressing room together. It just sort of felt like inorganic to like it just felt like very off, right? But it just sort of showed. I thought it was really interesting the way that Andy was with them, like he didn't give them the like same treatment that he gave with Raquel and Sandoval and Ariana, where he had like the sit downs with the principals is what it was called at the time, where he sat down with each of them separately and had conversations so that they could each tell their sides of the story. I think that actually would have been kind of cool, but he didn't even give them the courtesy, I guess is the word. Yeah, didn't give them the courtesy. Um, and you could tell he just didn't really respect them, right? I mean, did you guys even see that he changed his Instagram or Threads or whatever profile picture to him looking like really confused by them at the reunion? And I just like absolutely love that, right? So it was just weird I mean, Andy is never mean, like, or never like, I mean, we all have our moments, right? He's definitely had his moments, but he always tries to be like as, even keel as possible because it's sort of his role to be that neutral party. But you could tell he felt like kind of weird and kind of disgusted about them. Um, what else did I think was interesting? I love when Jesse said like all rise when Sierra came in because she looked so beautiful. And did you all notice how Wes was like pursing his lips and just kind of like looking her up and down, which was just um gross, you know? Something that I thought was really interesting that's sort of still plaguing me is when Amanda said that she didn't really know how much, I guess, because we know in like the last scene or like the last episode of the season that Sierra and Wes kissed or and did ear stuff or whatever. But when Andy asked her at the reunion, like, did you know the extent of that? She's like, no, I didn't. And she like looked annoyed and there was like a tone. So why didn't she know, right? Because at that point, her and Sierra were close friends. So why didn't Sierra tell her that? We saw Sierra tell Mia. We saw her tell her like right after. She's like, "Oh, West and I kissed." So why didn't Amanda know about that? Or like, did West downplay it somehow? Ooh, he must have. He must. Maybe Sierra did tell her, but because she's so mesmerized and googly-eyed by West, when she asked West about it, he goes, "No, no, no, it was just ear stuff." But then you actually watch it and it's not ear stuff. Like you see him kissing her on the lips. Like, yes, it's ear stuff too. But oh, and by the way, I wanted to add something to the timeline. Like I'm putting up my hand here. I know you guys can't see it. And I posted this on Instagram, but October 20th, 2025, West was with Sally Carson, Will, and Emmy from Southern Hospitality, okay? And they were at like some sporting event. And, I don't need, I mean, you can look at my Instagram for the details, but basically, she said on 2Ts that she hooked up with West, right? We saw that weird preview that's coming up for the Southern Hospitality reunion where basically Michaels calls Mia out for having sex with Wes and saying like to Sally that she better get some because the D is good. And then Mia tries to deny it. And then Leva kind of confirms and she goes, no, I was there when you said that to Sally. So basically she's confirming that, meaning to add to the timeline. Oh God. So Amanda and Kyle's anniversary was September 25th. So they had that conversation on screen for In the City, and she says that she's moving out. It was around that, it was either like that week, it must have been that week, that West goes on a date with Mia, and she helped him pregame for it. And then I guess they slept together. And then a month later, he hooks up with Sally. But this entire time, he's in a committed relationship to Mia. And then Sierra also sleeps over twice during that period of time. Amanda, God knows how many times, but definitely somewhere around like January the 17th. It's so complicated. Oh, like, and at the end of the day, and something I want to also say about the reunion, that like Amanda and West seem so, convinced about this timeline, right? And how they say, like, we weren't having an affair. And they think that that's what we're fixated on, or I guess, right? But we're not, right? Like, would that be interesting as well if this really did go back to like June 2025 when those blinds came out? Absolutely. But it doesn't, that's not the point because even if this was 2 years from now, you still did this to Sierra. You still betrayed Sierra. That doesn't change. And that's the part that it really doesn't seem like Amanda gets because to me, the jaw dropping and like the audacity sort of look on her face, all the entire reunion, it really didn't seem like she knew that this was coming. Like maybe because she's never seen Sierra so heated, but like good for Sierra, right? Like, good for her. She said absolutely everything that she's been wanting to say. And I guess Amanda didn't think that. I, I don't know if it was necessary. I don't know if she didn't think that the audience would be this mad, slash Sierra would be this mad. Like, I guess I just don't know what she was thinking. I wonder, well, I mean, a lot of people are saying she wasn't thinking at all, but I wonder if she was thinking, I'm only going to lose Sierra in this. I'm not going to lose anyone else because everyone else is going to understand this isn't a big deal. They didn't really date, yada, yada, yada. Like, I, and then the other text messages too. Sorry, I can't just, I still just have so many thoughts. Some of the text messages still are getting to me. The text messages where or where Amanda's like, hey, I just want to make sure we're okay. So this is on March the 7th. Amanda texted Sierra and said, I want to make sure that we're okay because I can't imagine Wes getting in the way of our friendship because that would be so crazy. But we know that they kissed on March the 1st. I know that, by the way, I'm just going to call it March 1st and not end of February because that's what was said on screen when they showed the brunch date. I'm assuming that they got it confused because end of February, because February is a short month, right? So when they said end of February, maybe they didn't realize it was March 1st, but it was on March 1st. And we know that that was the day. That is so weird, right? So, oh, and then something else that came up, by the way, Lindsie Hubbard, last Wednesday DM'd me about this at 1 o'clock in the morning about the fact that on March 1st was when this brunch was, and that was when Kyle and Amanda like made out for some reason. And Bailey talked about this on Watch What Happens Live when she was there with Lindsie. So she just wanted to make sure to remind me that this is such a weird point because that was the same day that West and Amanda allegedly kissed for the first time. So that is gross. And Lindsie was wondering if she did that to make West jealous. And I'm like, I don't know, right? Like I need more context about like this brunch and like why Amanda was kissing Kyle. Like because if this was March the 1st, they've announced their separation on January the 19th. Why are they kissing as a joke, right? Like, we're not there yet. What's with these people and kissing as a joke, right? If it is a joke, like Jesse too. And it was Amanda not the one who said like during the season, like who kisses as a joke. So it's just so crazy. Um The dick pic stuff, maybe let's talk about that a bit more. Um, I think it was really weird that Amanda was like interested in seeing them. That was the only point in time during the reunion you got a smile out of her. I don't know if it was like a laughter kind of smile, but you definitely got a smile out of her. And it was weird for her to say, like, oh, I didn't nobody sent these to me. Okay, right? Like the fact that she still has to make everything about her, it's like okay. Now, a lot of people are, he's saying that his phone got hacked. That's what he said in the reunion, that his phone must have gotten hacked. And there's these nudes that are going out. Ryan mentioned in our episode that he feels like it was sort of convenient that that was the moment that he found out while everyone else in the cast had these photos. I mean, it's possible that they had their phones off, right? Which is what they've been saying. They've been saying off of the internet and stuff. I don't really know, but I don't think his phone needs to be hacked. They're probably just the pictures that he had sent to girls, right? Like, and the fact that he asked Jesse, like, am I flaccid? Or no, he goes, am I hard? And, means that that's a thing. That means that he takes them like that. Which, like, why? Why would you take like flaccid dick pics and send those to women? Don't send any of them to anyone, but like, why do that? Um, Also, I want to know more about how Amanda explained away, the group chat situation where like Sierra and Mia put her in this group chat and that's what she called back. Like she's like, um, so basically we know in the reunion that Sierra's like, oh, I wanted you to hang out with Mia and I, and you didn't answer the phone, but you answered only after Mia put us like in a group chat or whatever. And it says that she was at West Place. Like, I just want to know more about how she defended that like earlier on, or if there was any conversations about that earlier on, because Wes says in this reunion, I had a conversation with Sierra, so she understood, like, I'm not looking for a relationship and whatever. And Sierra's like, I mean, okay, well, you were still like flirting with me and sending flirty texts, and I slept over twice, which is weird. Like, you should not be having her sleep over at all, man. But I just wonder what like if Amanda was saying anything or if like Sierra was having any conversations with Amanda, like we're not talking to him anymore. Because if you think back to the season, right, we saw that weird beach scene of Mia sitting down with Amanda at the beach and Amanda being like, we only want the best for Sierra. I love Sierra. She deserves a guy who's 10 times better than any other guy on earth. And if Wes does anything to her, I'll cut him. If she just looks at me and says, like, we're not talking to him, I'm cutting him out. Well, did Sierra say that at any point? I'm not saying that she had to, but I'm just curious if there was any conversations where, because think about also from the season, another thought I had. Remember how Kyle said really early in the season to West, Amanda has spent more time with you in the last 6 months than she spent with me. So it sounds like West and Amanda have been spending time alone together for a while. And I just wonder what conversations Sierra has had with her about that. Like if she's been like, hey, I really don't like you hanging out with him. Um, and I wonder if Amanda has just sort of gone ahead and done it anyway, because it is a weird, it's something where I feel like she got herself in this situation, like she keeps talking about it where it's like, oh, this just sort of happened to me, right? And this happens to people. You just happen to, you can't help who you like and you just fall into like, and we can't help things like that. But it's also like you're putting yourself in a situation where you're hanging out alone with a single guy who you're attracted to, obviously. And what did you think was going to happen, right? You know what I mean? He's like a smooth talker. It's the vibe of your relationship has always been like really close and flirty. You guys say I love you to each other. So plus this is your friend's ex, right? Like that's and a lot of people talk about this and I want to mention it as well. Usually it's like an innate thing. I thought it was just me, but I heard other people talk about this too, so I want to mention it. Don't most of you guys feel like when your friend starts dating someone, that guy automatically becomes like a brother to you, like physically? Like there's just something about, like I never look at my friends' partners or ex-partners in a sexual way. Like they automatically become like a non-sexual being to me. And so she allowed herself to look at him in like a sexual way. Does that make sense? when she just should have always been looking at him as like her ex and like nothing more. Yes, yes. Not that you can't look at him as like a friend, but like in that way. And something else that she mentioned, which I thought was interesting, where she was like, um, so I'm never allowed to move on, or I'm never allowed to like, follow my heart on something like this. And people are like, no. And it's like, yeah, there's certain people that are just like off limits, right? Like Kyle would be off limits to any of her friends. And I'm sure that that's going to come up because we heard something like that in one of the leaked audio clips. But like, yeah, if Kyle dated any one of her friends, that would be off limits. It's just we keep going over this show to show to show, and it just seems really obvious. But like, it's just interesting to me now, seeing them in Italy, how they've decided to kind of give up everything, right? And I don't know if they knew that they were going to give up as much as they've given up. They've given up so many of these friendships. Probably, and I posted this on Threads, Amanda's probably given up her friendship with Paige. I mean, I think that's obvious. Like Paige never like flat out said that, but I think she's given up her friendship with Paige as well. So she's lost her friendship, her very close friendships with Paige and Sierra. Um, she's lost a lot of other people. She may have lost like one of her jobs. Like, I don't really know. It's a lot to lose for a guy that I mean, we know from like the reunion clips that Andy's going to ask if they're in love. At that point in time, I mean, they're trying to claim that they didn't have sex until somewhere around April 1st. This was filmed on like, when was this? April the 23rd, I think. And okay. So they're probably not saying that they're in love at that point. They might be now. But he's never been in any long-term relationship, right? So it just feels weird. Sure what else I want to say about this. Like it's so hard. It's like I just keep having like more and more thoughts. Um, oh, one other thing I wanted to talk about just with the whole, I guess it's not like super relevant and we're not going to keep talking about it as it continues on, but I just thought the whole Carl and Bailey thing was sort of weird. Like, I just don't really understand his reasoning for not being into her. Unless it's about the show, because then like fine, but then just be like straight up about that. Because he has said like things like that before, either on the reunion or Watch What Happens Live. He's mentioned the age difference, but first, like he said that he's looking for something serious. But then earlier on in the episode, he said that like he hasn't had time to look for something serious. Um, I don't know. I think they probably are a lot more on the same page than he'd like to admit. And I feel like there's something we don't know, like maybe something he saw on screen that he didn't like. I don't really know, and we know that the whole Vanita thing happened after that. Like the Vanita stuff happened in the fall. So, obviously nothing ever came of the Bailey and Carl of it all, but like, Carl's in this weird place. He's sort of like the dad of the house now. He's sober. Um, we don't know what's going to happen with Kyle if he's coming back to the show or not, but if not, then Carl is definitely like the dad of the house. And it would be nice for him to like be dating someone in the house. Like I get that that's scary and that puts a lot of pressure on the relationship. So that's not like obviously a good thing or always a good thing. But like, yeah, I don't know. I really like them together. I think he's making a mistake, but like, sometimes it's always about timing, and maybe there will be a different point in time where he may find her the right person. Who knows? I guess all else I want to say is like, why do they think that we would believe this timeline? And I don't know, because I've watched it like a million times, and I don't know if you guys noticed, but like, it really felt to me like West and Amanda decided to pick a date that they felt was appropriate to say that they had sex. I don't know why they wanted to say it was after I'm just thinking more about it. But yeah, I just don't know why they decided to say it was after they put out their joint statement, because like again, that would be insane that they waited that long. But if you noticed, it looked like Wes was about to say something when Andy asked like when did you guys first have sex? And also I was thinking like, you know, Andy only asked when they had sex and when they first kissed. And like there's other stuff. And so I wonder if there's just like I'm trying to like play into maybe their timeline for a second and maybe like they weren't asked the question. No, this is just stupid, right? Like, of course they're lying about the timeline. I'm just trying to figure out why they think that that makes it look better. But it's just so fascinating how many Scandival aspects of this there are. Because of course, like Raquel and Sandoval were committed to saying that it only happened the one time, and or that was something Sandoval was committed to. And so that was like the thing that they had agreed on, and that was the thing that they had to say during the reunion. And then like Raquel obviously spilled the beans at the end and said that, it obviously happened many, many, many a time. But I feel like there was something like that too. I feel like Amanda and West have like this pact. Ooh, I feel like I know. Ooh, I feel like I know. I feel like something happened last summer, maybe around June 5th. Ooh, one time. And then they said it can never happen again. It was a whoopsie. It was an accident. And that's when they posted things that were like back to friends, my ex's ex or my ex's best friend and that kind of thing on Instagram and did that whole breadcrumbing thing, which we still need more information on. Like they need to explain picture by picture, martini by martini, why they were posting the things that they were posting. Oh my God, when she was posting on like the snow day, it was like beginning of March, like best day ever, Wes Wilson, like tell us the truth, right? Like tell us the entire freaking timeline. I hope like Andy brings out like a whiteboard and a red pen and like, really helps us figure this out. Um, Sorry, what else was I trying to say about this? That's some more information we definitely need to know. What else? What else? Oh, when Amanda said that she was like newly single and living on her own and was prioritizing herself, that was really interesting because, everybody was convinced that Amanda doesn't have other friends that she's hanging out with and that she's only hanging out with West's friends. I thought that that was like a really interesting point because, Ryan and I were talking about how none of Amanda's friends have sort of spoken up about, her or whether she's a good person or not. But then also thinking back to the Sandoval and Raquel times, I don't remember anyone sticking up for her either, except for like her publicists and stuff. Um, I just, it's very juvenile and very high school to sort of be like, okay, all my best girlfriends want to hang out with me because I'm going through a breakup, but I'm going to hang out with the cute boy who's giving me attention instead, right? Like, yes, you're newly single and yes, you're prioritizing yourself as you should, but then you're also like really doing that in spite of other people. And also like that was your time to be with your girlfriends, which is kind of why I loved when Mia said, like about her own relationship, like, oh, I'm not looking to get into anything myself right now. Like, I don't think it's healthy to go from one long-term relationship to another. Like, I love that because, that was obviously a little dig at Amanda, but it's also like very true because how did you go and find yourself? You just fell into somebody else and it would have been, what's the word? It would have been good for you to go hang out with your girlfriends and spend time with those people, but instead you were just like really, really craving that male attention. I think that's just like really, really obvious. Um, Also, Mia talked about, and we heard about this in the leaked reunion footage or whatever, where she says like, why are you leaving your relationship to just be one of his side bitches? That's crazy. And we just got a K from Amanda, but like, what is this? That's also what I need more information on. Like, are you guys in a committed relationship? Is that what you guys have talked about? Because Amanda says, like, yes, I knew about Miha, but like, what exactly did you know about her? And what are you guys now, right? Like, when did he stop dating other people? Like, because, ew, that was the other weird thing where he said that he had sex with Miha on March 23rd, and then he had sex with Amanda in or around March 31st, April 1st. And it's like, Amanda, ew. Ew, and I'm not slut shaming. It's not that. It's like I'm a germaphobe, and I just feel like that's so gross. Blah, blah. So I, and like effective what day did they decide? Because the joint. Okay, oh, that's the other weird thing. So he sleeps with Miha on March 23rd, but they point out the joint statement on March 31st, a week later. What? The joint statement is supposed to say like we're doing this, right? I mean, it was weird and murky, and we couldn't really like tell it heads from tails. I mean, like that was obviously a big point of contention during the reunion. Like, who wrote this piece of garbage, and what were you thinking? But like aside from that, like, so he sleeps with someone a week before you guys declare your quote unquote love for each other, right? Like, and say that basically you're pursuing a relationship a week before. That's so weird. You would think that maybe they were like secretly dating exclusively for like at least a couple of months before you would make a statement like that, right? But he slept with someone a week before. A week before. Okay. So those are all my thoughts for now. I will be back on Wednesday with Farai Bennett, as I mentioned. Until then, follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads at The Bravo Investigator. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I at almost 1,000 subscribers, which is when I can monetize. So please help me monetize there. Join the Facebook page, and I love you, BBs. I will see you next time. Thank you for listening to the Bravo Investigator podcast. You can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads at the Bravo Investigator. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and join the Facebook page. If you enjoyed the show, please leave a 5-star review.